You've seen the night sky before, maybe from your rooftop, maybe from a quiet road where the lights don't reach. You look up, and there they are, tiny white dots scattered across the darkness. They feel close, harmless, almost decorative. You might even pick one and think, that one is mine. But one of those points is not a star, it's a planet, and not just any planet. It's Jupiter. To your eyes, it's a small, steady glow. It doesn't twinkle like the stars. It just hangs there, silent, distant, easy to ignore. But what you're seeing is something so large, so violent, and so complex that it could swallow everything you've ever known and still have room left over. You are not seeing Jupiter. You are seeing a reflection of sunlight bouncing off clouds that are thousands of kilometers deep, from a world so big that it contains more mass than all the other planets in our solar system combined. And for most of human history, that's all we had. A dot, a guess, a mystery. Then we started getting closer. First through telescopes, then spacecraft, then orbiters. And in 2022, something changed again. We saw Jupiter like never before, not as a distant object, not as a blurry disk, but as a living, moving world, filled with storms, lightning, heat, and structure so detailed that for the first time, you could almost imagine standing above it, looking down. These new images didn't just show Jupiter, they revealed it. Cloud bands twisting like rivers of gas, storms larger than entire planets, auroras at its poles glowing brighter than anything on Earth. And suddenly, that small dot in the sky wasn't small anymore. It was overwhelming. Because when you truly see Jupiter, not as a point of light, but as a place, you begin to realize something unsettling. This planet is not quiet. It is not stable. It is not friendly. It is a world where winds can reach over 600 kilometers per hour, where pressure crushes anything that falls too deep, where lightning flashes in storms taller than Mount Everest. And all of it has been happening, constantly, for billions of years. You've been looking at it your whole life, and you had no idea. But Jupiter is just the beginning, because those images from 2022 didn't only show us one planet. They showed us how much we still don't understand about our solar system, about space, about the scale of what's out there. And once you start seeing clearly, you can't go back to seeing dots. Because the next time you look up at the night sky, you won't see something small. You'll see something enormous. And you'll realize you're standing on something very small, looking out into something that has no edge. And Jupiter is just one piece of it. But what we discovered next made even Jupiter feel small. You are standing on Earth, a planet that feels large to you. It takes hours to cross a country, days to cross an ocean, weeks to circle the globe without stopping. From where you stand, Earth feels endless. But step back, just a little. Earth is about 12,700 kilometers wide. Now imagine placing Jupiter next to it. Jupiter is so large that more than 1,300 Earths could fit inside it. Not around it, inside it. That means every mountain, every ocean, every city, every person who has ever lived, all of it could be copied over 1,000 times and still not fill Jupiter. And yet Jupiter is not even a solid world. It's mostly gas, which means there's no real surface to stand on, no ground, no place to land. Just deeper and deeper layers of clouds, pressure, and heat. In 2022, new images captured by advanced space telescopes revealed these layers in extraordinary detail. You can see bands of color stretching across the planet: white, orange, red, brown. They look calm from far away, but they are not. Each band is a massive stream of gas, moving in opposite directions at incredible speeds. Some of these bands are wider than Earth itself, and between them, chaos. Storms collide, winds shear past each other, turbulence builds, and then there's the most famous feature of all, the Great Red Spot, a storm. But calling it a storm doesn't feel right. It has been raging for at least 350 years, 3.5 centuries. That means it was already there before electricity, before airplanes, before modern science. It's so large that Earth could fit inside it, and it hasn't stopped. Think about that. Every hurricane you've ever heard of on Earth eventually fades. Days, maybe weeks. But this storm has lasted longer than entire civilizations, and it's still going. That's not weather. That's something else, something planetary. And the 2022 images didn't just show its size, they showed its texture, swirls within swirls, layers within layers, like looking at a living system that never sleeps. And then there's the lightning. On Earth, lightning flashes inside clouds that are maybe 10 to 15 kilometers tall. On Jupiter, storms can reach heights of over 50 kilometers, and inside them, lightning strikes that are far more powerful than anything we experience here. Each flash is a reminder that this is not a quiet place. It's alive with energy. But Jupiter's story doesn't stop at its clouds. Look closer, at its poles. There, something even stranger is happening. Auroras. You've seen them on Earth, the northern lights. Soft waves of green and red dancing across the sky. Beautiful, gentle. Jupiter's auroras are not gentle. They are hundreds of times more powerful than Earth's. They don't just shimmer, they blaze. They wrap around the poles in constant glowing rings, driven not just by the solar wind, but by Jupiter's own immense magnetic field. A magnetic field so strong that it creates a protective bubble around the planet, stretching millions of kilometers into space. If you could see it, it would be larger than the sun in our sky, invisible, but massive. And inside that magnetic field, trapped radiation, deadly radiation, so intense that any human spacecraft would fail within hours without heavy shielding. This is not a place for life as we know it. It is a giant engine of energy, motion, and force. And yet, even Jupiter is not alone, because orbiting this giant are dozens of moons, more than 90 confirmed, some small, some massive. And in 2022, we saw them more clearly than ever before. Take Ganymede, the largest moon in the solar system. It is bigger than the planet Mercury. A moon, larger than a planet. Let that settle. And beneath its icy surface, there is strong evidence of a vast ocean, more water than all of Earth's oceans combined. Hidden, dark, silent. Then there's Europa, a smooth, icy world, cracked like broken glass. Underneath, another ocean, liquid water, kept warm by the gravitational pull of Jupiter stretching and squeezing it from within. A world that might have the right conditions for life. Not confirmed, but possible. And then Io, the most volcanic world in the solar system, covered in eruptions. Hundreds of active volcanoes, constantly reshaping its surface. A place where the ground itself cannot stay still. These moons are not just rocks. They are worlds, entire systems of their own. And together, they orbit something so massive that it controls them completely. Jupiter doesn't just exist, it dominates. And here is the gut punch. Everything you've just imagined, Jupiter, its storms, its moons, its magnetic field, all of it is just one part of our solar system. One. Because beyond Jupiter, there are more giants, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, each with their own systems, their own mysteries. And beyond them, nothing. At least, nothing for a very long distance, because the space between planets is mostly empty. Vast, silent, cold. If Earth were the size of a marble, Jupiter would be a basketball, sitting hundreds of meters away. And beyond that, kilometers of nothing. This is your neighborhood. And yet, even this isn't the real scale. Because our entire solar system, everything from the sun to the farthest objects, fits inside a region that is still tiny compared to what lies beyond. The nearest star is over 4 light years away. That means even light, the fastest thing in the universe, takes more than 4 years to get there. If you tried to travel that distance with today's fastest spacecraft, it would take tens of thousands of years. And that's just the nearest star. So here's the question. If Jupiter, this massive, violent, beautiful world, is just one piece of one system, inside a galaxy filled with hundreds of billions of stars, what else is out there? And how small does that make us? Really? Now step back, further than you ever have before, past Jupiter, past the outer planets, past the distant edge of the solar system, where the sun becomes just another bright star in the sky. Keep going, because what you've seen so far is still home. Our solar system is just a small bubble around one ordinary star, the sun, a star that feels powerful to us. It lights our days, warms our world, drives our weather. But in the galaxy, it's nothing special. There are hundreds of billions of stars in the Milky Way, some larger, some brighter, some older, some with planets we've never seen. And now we know this for certain, because in recent years, including discoveries highlighted alongside those 2022 images, we've confirmed thousands of exoplanets orbiting other stars, real worlds, some bigger than Jupiter, some smaller than Earth, some in places where liquid water could exist, not imagined, observed. And each one is a reminder that our solar system is not unique. It's just one example, one arrangement, one version of what can happen when a star forms and planets gather around it. So when you think about Jupiter now, those storms, those moons, that immense scale, you're not just thinking about one planet. You're thinking about a pattern, something that might exist over and over again across the galaxy. And the galaxy itself? It's about 100,000 light years across. That means if you could travel at the speed of light, it would still take 100,000 years to cross from one side to the other. And there are billions of galaxies, each with billions of stars, each star potentially with planets, each planet a possible world. This is not a crowded universe. It is a vast one, so vast that even something as enormous as Jupiter becomes small, a detail, a fragment. And you are standing on a thin layer of rock wrapped in a fragile atmosphere, orbiting an ordinary star, in a quiet corner of one galaxy among billions. It sounds insignificant. It sounds like nothing. But then, there's something else. You are aware of it. You can look up at Jupiter, not as a dot, but as a world, and understand what it is. You can take something that is hundreds of millions of kilometers away and bring it into your mind. You can imagine its storms, its lightning, its moons. You can feel its scale, and that changes everything, because the universe does not shrink for you. It does not become easier to understand. It remains vast, cold, unforgiving, but your ability to see it, to truly see it, grows. And in that way, something very small begins to reach something very large, not physically, but mentally, quietly. You don't need to travel to Jupiter to be overwhelmed by it. You just need to understand what it is. And once you do, The night sky is no longer decoration, it becomes depth. Every point of light becomes a place. Every place becomes a question. And every question leads further out, until you reach a point where there are no more familiar things left. No Earth, no sun, no galaxy you can hold on to. Just distance, and time, and silence. And somewhere, far behind you now, is that small blue world where you started, where you first looked up at a tiny point of light and thought it was simple. It wasn't. It never was, and it never will be. Because the more clearly we see the universe, the less it feels like something we live inside, and the more it feels like something we are only just beginning to notice.